Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Definitely going to give you something to think about today, and that is a more positive life solely based on what you say to yourself and what you think. And it's often been said before that we are what we eat. We're also what we think. Going to dig deep into that. And she's somebody that definitely subscribes to that notion, but also looks at it from a different camera angle because she's an intuitive and evidential medium. That's her line of work, but it's all about the positivity, and it's great to have her back here. Trudy LaBonte is with us. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? How's the world today?
World is good over here. How's your world?
Snowy. It's snowy and cold. I don't think we're going to get spring.
Wow. Okay. You are, if I remember correctly, you are in Idaho?
Yes, Shelley, Idaho is where I live, and my office is in Idaho Falls. So close to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Everybody knows Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So,
Wow. I thought we were pretty much past the snow.
yeah, no, not around here.
Wow.
It snows on the 4th of July, and it's quite fun because, how many people can say they made a snowman on 4th of July? I have.
Are you being serious?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah. You just gotta make do with what you get. And that's what I want to focus on today. If everybody says, if you get lemons, you make lemonade, heck, you can do a lot more than that. You can scrub your dishes in your face, and you can clean, and it smells good, and it's good for you. Put some in your water, whatever, just whatever you're given, find a positive in that. It's, hindsight's 2020, and looking at things, I definitely see positive things. I could give you an example. My husband and I adopted our children. We actually had worked with a birth mother, and for about 5 months, it was going to be an open adoption. She had to have an emergency C-section. We went to the hospital. We were there throughout that whole process. We actually had to bring the baby boy home for 4 nights and 5 days. She was living at home with her meth addicted mother, and her meth addicted mother kind of told her that, she got a little paranoid. And anyway, the gal would not go to the courthouse on that Friday and sign her rights over because her mother had gotten in the way.
In her head. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And so we had to give that baby boy back to a 15-year-old living at home with a meth addicted mother. There's no, it was tough. I was heartbroken, devastated.
Honestly, Trudy, I can't imagine, because this was your answer,
right?
Children. Yeah. and you were through the whole, I'm sure, along the pregnancy process at some point, maybe the entire point, all along the way, only to be served up with this information as soon as the birth, and we're excited, the baby's born.
Yeah.
And then there's that.
Well, wow. And to have him home and bond with him, and, have him there with us, and just having to hand him back, we just felt, it was raw. The emotions were truly raw, but we met some fabulous people at the hospital, and we met fabulous people afterwards who just really touched our lives in such a positive way. I know that he's in a good place now. Thank goodness. I did find out he went to a good home, and a family member adopted him, and he's probably thriving. But still, it's hard. But I look at that and I go, okay, what were my lessons through this? I have sympathy for birth mothers. I know what it's like to go through that journey just by returning him and being out of the picture and knowing that he's out there somewhere. and I also know what it feels like such a loss, and it's so devastating. So I feel sympathy for parents that have lost children. And, it taught me a lot. And I definitely am blessed to have had that experience.
What do you think the lesson was?
I think the lesson was just, well, one, I do believe that God takes care of us. I I really think that that child being put into another good home probably saved us from a lot of um, through the open adoption, a lot of heartache and pain, and possibly, who knows, showed up at our door, who, especially where drugs are involved.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. We don't know how it could have gone, but it seems
Right,
reasonable to think that there could have been some challenges along the way. And, God
right,
forbid you think that everything is good to go, and it could have been 2 years later, and there's a
right,
loophole, and the mother comes calling with her mother whispering in her ears, and give us our child back. You know,
right,
how horrible that would have been for you, how horrible for the child to already start his life and now get ripped away.
right.
Yeah, it's. Do you believe there's a reason for everything?
I do. I
Mm,
do. And it takes a while for you to figure it out sometimes. And even if you don't figure it out, just look at where you are now. You've survived it. You've learned from it. You've hopefully gained some inner strength from that. Um, it's just, you have to validate where you've been and what you've come through to get where you are today.
There's a song that resonates from time to time in my mind, and my brain works in music. Songs
Yes,
drop out of the
mine is too.
sky. I've been playing music on the radio since I was 17 and still do. There's a song from Dan Fogelberg, came out in the 70s. It wasn't a hit. It was one of his album tracks, but kind of well known. And it's called Part of the Plan. And
Oh,
it
I'm gonna have
basic
to listen to that.
check it out. The lyrics are very empowering. And basically it says that 1 minute you're holy and humble, everything's great. The next minute you're falling apart. Um, it's all part of the plan. And the chorus goes, someday we'll all know. Someday we'll all know. I don't know if that's true. Maybe when you get wherever you're going, someday the plan will be revealed. Maybe it'll be revealed tomorrow, depending on
Right.
the situation. We don't know, but the song pushes the fact that one day we'll all know. But it is part of the plan. Whatever the plan is, whatever you want to believe the plan is. Whether you connect
Right.
that to religion and a God, whether you connect that to the universe, faith in yourself, I don't know.
Or spirit, that's
Well, yeah,
a,
sure.
a lot of times through my readings, because I connect a lot with music too. They just drop in with a song, and I have to Google it because I'm like, and it's just, I don't even know what the song is most of the time. So it's just a song, or they'll give me a certain singer, and I'll kind of open up their Google tab and say,
Sure.
oh, this is the one. And so we'll pull it up and read the lyrics, and they just instantly get the message, because it's easier for spirit to communicate through songs because it's all written out for them. So
Oh,
uh,
thank you. Okay,
yeah.
never thought of it in that term, and brought back a memory. About a year ago, I was driving to the studio, had someone very, 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 very close to me going through a challenge, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I could tell you the cross street where I was when Out of the Sky was Let It Be.
Yep.
Beatles. There will
Yep.
be an answer. Let it be.
Yep.
And it's like
Yeah.
screaming. And there's a line in the song, Mother Mary calls to me. My mom's name was Rose
It's
Mary.
Mary. Yep.
And that song isn't about Mary and religion. Paul McCartney, his mom was named Mary as
Hmm.
well. Um, I drive 3 minutes from hearing that song, walk in here, the phone rings out of nowhere. It was the answer.
Yeah.
It was the answer. I'm like, if you look in the other room, I have the lyrics on the wall. It was like,
Right.
all right, hey, thanks, thanks,
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah, exactly. And so some mornings you just don't get up on the right foot. So songs also are an inspiration to boost your mood.
Hmm.
So, I mean, since Demi Lovato's Confident came out, I love that song. That song, it has a good beat, and it just like when I turn that on, I can take on the world. I am
Mm.
going to go out there and I'm going to make a difference today. And I don't care who thinks what of me or whatever. That's on them. So I have to sometimes just plug that song on and listen to it and just get myself feeling good. So, and I think everybody can relate to that. Everybody has a song that they really, it's, pumping me up. AC/DC sometimes I'm like, what?
Oh
What's going to
yeah,
go happen?
I'm totally. And it's interesting where we started talking about how you talk to yourself in the language that you use. Music speaks to us. Same kind of way.
Yeah.
Same kind of way. Um,
Yeah.
let's look at those things that a lot of us say to ourselves that don't really serve and support us and can bring us down. And how can we refocus that language that we use?
Yes. So one of the questions I'd answered before I started the podcast was, what word would I eradicate? And I would eradicate the word hate. The
Mm.
word hate is derived from so many negative emotions, whether it be a dislike for something, whether it just be a judgmental or a jealousy or I mean, it has so much wrapped up into it. If I could
Yeah.
take out that one word and just replace it, like a lot of times I just say, well, I really dislike this. I really don't like jalapeno peppers on my pizza or something. I just dislike it. Don't say I hate anymore, because it really, by changing that word, just that little bit changes my feelings inside. So whenever I say hate, I tense up. I like it's an emotion. It's a
I get it.
negative emotion.
I've tried to eradicate that one. Sometimes it'll come back or I'll catch myself. I hate that. But no, let me change that
Yep.
and switch it around. I don't believe we realize that just using that one word, even if you're saying I hate pepperoni on my pizza, whatever.
Right.
I'm just talking about pizza. No, there's a greater thing going on here in terms
Right.
of that word hate is radiating negativity and can ooze into other areas of your mind and life. So why even use it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a vague description a lot of times, because it's just a common word. And you know when people say that they hate the LGBTQ, or they hate having same-sex marriages, that really is, I mean, it just, I feel like they're stabbing us with
Yeah.
something, and that's their opinion, and that's fine. But you also have to look at things a little differently. So what is wrong with love? If you love another person of the same sex, that is love. That is for them. That's not for us. We have our own, living, you're trying to live more peacefully and more uh, with the empathy, and just you take care of yourself, you do good to others. And if it's not something that you agree to or don't necessarily like, that's your opinion. You don't have to be mean to somebody else for that.
Sure.
So it's definitely about just, and hate is a big part of that. It's, again, you start there, but um you just have to accept every person is different. Every person speaks differently. Every person has an internal drive that's different. And that's good. I wouldn't want to be a cookie cutter person. I'm definitely not a cookie cutter person.
Yeah.
I like to go out, and it can't always be rainbows and unicorns and sparkles. It can't. But I don't. It's a don't sweat the small stuff. Of course, everybody else says that. That's exactly, once you start getting into this mindset every morning, I'm going to make a change today. I'm going to make a change to get rid of some negativity. I'm going to make a change to not say hate. And I'm going to put on my power song, and I'm going to feel good. And if I feel good, I'm going to radiate that to other people. I'm going to give them a smile and a compliment, and that's a good way to start. It's just start out. I'm going to give compliments today. I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm not going to, if I think something bad, I'm going to stop. I'm going to just say, nope, that's out of here. And I'm going to give them a compliment. Your shirt looks nice today. It changes everything.
And why not? Even you go to get your coffee at Starbucks. It should be genuine. Don't just throw a compliment just because I wanted to throw a compliment. It's heartfelt. Like, I love the way where your hair looks. Your hair looks like it fits you. And I mean that. It does.
Oh, thank you.
You can, when you see somebody's hair and it's just like it all works, it fits their face. I would say that to you. I do. I feel that way.
Yeah.
It has to come from the heart, but there's nothing wrong with just being intentional. Like walking out of the house and this is what I'm going to do. Another word that I've pretty successful eradicated, but.
Oh, yes.
Anything you say, any positive statement you say is negated when it's followed by the word but.
Yes, it is.
Anything.
That's true.
I replace it with and I look at that you look at children when they tell a story or talk in general, they hardly ever say but. It's all and I went to the ice cream store and they had so many different flavors and I got sprinkles and it was so fantastic and why not?
Right.
Even if it's a negative, like, this pen is great. And I'm going to follow it up by a negative. This pen is great. I could say, but the ink doesn't last this long. This pen is great. And the ink could last a little bit longer, but it's still great. Changing it up. The word but doesn't work. No buts about it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And, after a while, it's a slow go, but just make a point every day. I always read positive blurbs throughout the day to kind of get my mind, if I'm going down a rabbit hole, get my mind back to where it needs to be. And I know I did this with judgment too. I really don't. I kind of look at people and I go, well, that's okay, because that's what you believe. I happen to believe what I know, and if you don't know what I know, that's okay too. It's it's okay. It's all okay, and it's all gonna be okay. But some mornings, I'm doing it more as a positive though. So. But some mornings when I'm just kind of going, I just need a spark. You know what? Go get yourself a pair of power panties. Put those power panties on. Nobody else needs to know that you've got your power panties on and that you're going out there today and you're going to just, that they're on, and just having that little thing secret to yourself sometimes is enough for you to make a change in that day.
100%. And the stuff works. And I've tested it. I've actually walked into the gym and intentionally I'll think to myself, raise your vibration, raise it up, just bring it up, positive thoughts, think positive, radiate positivity. Let's go. I walk in. I'm not doing anything different. I'm not like walking around. I feel, and I'm pretty confident in knowing it's the real deal, that people pick up on what you're sending and react that way. And strangers and people I probably see every day at the gym or a couple of times a week will say, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And another time, if I wasn't doing that, they might not be that friendly. I feel they're picking up on it. And it's a mindset. Is it easy? No, I get it. We all have stuff going on. We have challenges. Um, Life is not easy for anybody. And I mean that, you talk about, well, if I had the money to blah, 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 doesn't mean anything. Great example. Got a friend of a friend. And actually, it's my friend. His friend is loaded. He's doing very well. He lives in a penthouse overlooking Central Park, New York City. He's done
Oh boy.
very well for himself. Fantastic. He retired. My friend, this is a true story. My friend walks into his penthouse. The guy is in a ball on the floor, withering away, crying. Doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do in retirement.
Yeah.
All that money doesn't mean anything. He's like freaking out. And my friend is trying to literally walk him off the ledge because he
Yes.
never expected his life to take that turn in terms of retirement. So you think, money buys everything and this is great and that's great. You haven't walked in somebody else's shoes.
Right. Exactly. Some of the poorest people are the first ones to give you the shirt off their back and to be
Yeah.
there to help you if you're, in need. So
Sure.
it is really, money does not make the difference. The person is the
No,
one that makes the difference.
absolutely.
And,
It's true.
I keep thinking if I win the lottery, I would do a few things, but I would really like to give money to friends and family that need it.
Sure.
I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I'd pay off a couple of credit cards or something, but it's about feeling good about making a difference for somebody else.
Absolutely.
And you start doing that even in little pieces. It's like, oh, I have a friend that may need a coat. I'm like, oh, I've got an extra coat. I don't need it. I don't give it to you.
Mhm.
So, and then they're like, well, how much? And I'm like, no, you don't owe me anything. I just want you to be warm and healthy. So that's enough for me.
I did that to this winter. Somebody I know left a coat in my car. A woman left a coat in my car, a friend, and she moved. And I reached out. She hasn't gotten back to me. Do you want the coat? We have, we really don't communicate that much anymore. Apparently she doesn't want it. So I
Right.
gave it to another woman I know, and it fit her perfect. It looks great on her. I'm like, well, that's for my friend that moved away. If she ever wants it back, I'll just buy her another one. She
Right.
doesn't. She moved to a warmer state. She doesn't really need the coat.
Yeah. Right.
But like you said, it made a difference. But you know what? It also is in line with gratitude, being
Yes.
grateful for what you have. Um, be thankful for what you got, but practice
Yeah.
that on a regular basis. Keep a gratitude journal. Keep
Yes.
a mindset gratitude. I know a woman. She calls herself a gratitude warrior because she practices gratitude so much that it changed her life.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I think we all need to be warriors. We need to, we need to be warriors of our own confidence and warriors for who we are and be proud of it. And don't, it, I don't look at life as a competition.
Right.
That's just, it just isn't. We're here to work together and help each other. And spirit, that's what spirit wants. I mean, really, when they get here, when they come to talk to us, it's about healing relationships and it's about healing yourself. Spirit is so adamant, if they have something that doesn't seem happy to talk about, they're usually doing that so that that person can release and have that. Everybody walks out of my office and they say, oh my gosh, I feel 10 pounds lighter. I have left this weight on my shoulders has left me and I can see a lot clearer now, and I just feel better. And that right there, I'm like, okay, no payment. That's all I want.
Yeah, that's what you want to hear. We want that for everybody, including ourselves.
Yeah.
Trudy, how do we connect with you? You are so multifaceted in the way that you look at things. I mean, okay, sure. You're an intuitive, evidential medium. That's part of you, but you're also spiritual. You also have faith.
Yeah.
And what are we talking about today? Positivity. Well, all right. When was
Yeah.
the last time a medium talked about positivity? It's a lot of times we don't
Right.
connect that, but that makes you like almost holistically 360, if you will.
Yeah.
Um,
Great.
Tell us.
Yeah. And not only that, I do essential oil wellness with reflexology and ionic foot baths. So I do energy work through the palms and the feet too. So I look at the whole person. What does each person need? And if they're going to come and see me, I am going to deliver because that's my goal. But you just, look up Just Believe LLC on Google or on Facebook, or you can contact me at Trudy at justbelievellc.com. I'm out there.
Always great talking with you.
Yeah,
And
you too.
and I didn't say but, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I look forward next time we get together.
Great. Thanks,
Thanks.
Steve.
We'll be right
Bye-bye.
back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.